Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for registering to watch my first ever solo talk here live on LinkedIn. I'm going to start with a really bold statement. I genuinely believe that industry events are the single biggest missed opportunity in recruitment today. Our industry is one built on people. Yet so many recruiters have stopped showing up in places where their target audience gather. And in a world obsessed with automation, LinkedIn hacks, AI, one of the last bastions of genuine human connection is an industry event. And whether that's a sector expo, a chamber of commerce, breakfast meeting, a specialist trade show, these events bring together the very people that you want to influence: clients, candidates, potential collaborators, and connectors in your industry. But the problem is, most recruiters treat industry events as a bit of a nice to have. They kind of show up, wander around, chat to a few people, collect a few business cards, which inevitably end up in some dusty drawer or desk in your office that you never look at again. Then they leave the event and they very, very rarely follow up, and all return on investment is immediately lost. As an industry, we spend millions upon millions of pounds every year on advertising, tech, data, dare I say it, LinkedIn premium recruiter licenses. Yet when it comes to walking into a room filled with potential candidates, clients, competitors, collaborators, all under one roof, most recruiters just wing it. I've picked this subject because events have completely shaped my own career. I spent 16 years working in a really, really niche sector, which was defense and aerospace. And that was a sector where trust, networking, face-to-face contact, because of security clearance requirements, was everything. I managed to infiltrate candidate networks that I went on to place candidates at events. I met new clients at trade shows, and I built a reputation for being a defense recruiter that went to events where my market gathered. And in my job at Team, I get to see this play out on a much, much bigger scale. So who am I? So my name's Andy Dunn. I've been working in recruitment for 23 years. And today I'm the managing director of the Team Network. And we are the UK's largest network of independently owned recruitment businesses. We've been established 31 years. And for those 31 years, networking and events have been at the very, very heart of everything that we do. And that really qualifies me to talk to you about this today, because I've gone from running my own solo recruitment business 11 years ago to leading Team now. And in the last 2.5 years, I've been involved in over 100 in-person networking events for Team. So you could say that I've learned a few things about what the best recruiters do when they get out of their office. And in my job, I get to speak to hundreds upon hundreds of recruitment founders every year. And it gives me that really clear view of what the best ones do before, during, and after industry events to give them really amazing ROI. For the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you a practical playbook and a blueprint to help you find the right events, prepare for them with intent, turn them into amazing networking opportunities that will help you grow your desk, your agency, and hopefully evolve your career. Honestly, industry events are a goldmine for anyone working in recruitment. And that doesn't matter if you're a startup, you're a solo, you're leading a big team of recruiters, or you're one of those really important vendors and suppliers in the industry. I know some of you are watching this today that are service partners to Team. I'm really hoping that this talk will change the way that you think about events forever. So what are industry events and why are they a goldmine? So every year there's about 7,000 different trade shows, expos, conferences that happen across the UK. And that doesn't include the smaller, more niche events, chamber events, BNI, meetups, private roundtables. And these events exist to sort of share knowledge, showcase innovation, build connections. And in this world that we live in now, where automation and AI are taking over human tasks, being at an in-person event is one of those last things that you can do to build real human trust and connection. And I do genuinely believe that industry events are an antidote to AI and tech, although I'm going to talk about AI in a little bit. You get to meet candidates in the wild, you get to build credibility with prospects, and you get to find out what's happening in your market and all of those really important trends you get to hear about live. With so many events happening every single day, the opportunity for all of you is ginormous. But if you don't have a strategy, most recruiters will waste the opportunity. And as industry events is quite a broad term, I'm just going to quickly go through what type of events are out there for you to attend. So big flashy expos like the recruitment agency expo is one type. Conferences, trade shows, exhibitions. These types of big scale events bring sectors together. And they are definitely places where clients, prospects, and candidates currently show up. So my background in defense, the biggest show in the world is called DSEI. It happens every 2 years. In fact, it just happened in September, and you'll see some photos about that coming up shortly. That's an event where pretty much every name in the defense sector is there, and it's an amazing opportunity to map out your market. But in other sectors, you've got Construction Week, you've got RCNI, Nursing Times in healthcare. Every single sector has some kind of ecosystem of events. Then you've got recruitment-specific events. So our own team conference, for instance, in the summer. You've got REC Live, you've got AppSco 25, events that are designed specifically for recruiters to give you huge opportunities to network with other recruiters and recruitment business owners, to learn about them, collaborate, and build those connections. You've got smaller local networking events, women in business, BNI, chambers of commerce, small repeat events, often happen weekly, often happen really early in the morning. They're ones where you can get really warm connections and build really long-term local relationships. My point is, whatever your niche is and whatever sector you work in and where you live, in the country, if you're watching this in the UK, the opportunity isn't just about finding events because they're happening around you every single day. It's about deciding to show up and use them strategically. Now, over the last couple of years, I've heard a lot of these coming out of recruiters saying why they don't go. Some myths that I'd like to bust. I've already got enough business on my desk. Events are just full of other recruiters. They're just sales fests. I don't know anyone. My clients don't go. They're too expensive. We've tried it before. It didn't work. I hate networking. The truth is, it's never the event. It's the approach that you have to it. With a plan, with a follow-up, with consistency, events stop being a gamble and they become a growth strategy. And the recruiters that consistently go to events, and I've seen this so much, win from all of them. So why should you want to plan to go to industry events next year? And why should you take them really seriously? As I said, most recruiters see events as a bit of a nice to have, something that you attend if you've got nothing else in your diary, or you don't want to do cold calling that day, or if someone gives you a free ticket. But if you approach them really strategically, they can be one of the most valuable tools that you've got in your BD arsenal. First up is new client business development. Most of the reasons why team members come to our events is they want to talk about sales, they want to talk about strategy, they want to hear about what other recruiters are doing with their BD. When you're at an event, you're not cold calling, you're not sending spurious emails to people that you don't know and hoping that they reply. You're face to face with potential prospects. The barriers are lower. And I promise you this, one good conversation that you have can just shortcut weeks and weeks, if not months, of cold outreach. Events are amazing opportunities to find untapped candidates. Most recruiters forget this, but industry events aren't just about client BD. They are full of passive candidates, people that you probably wouldn't even find on LinkedIn, and certainly people that won't respond to your cold in-mails that you're sending. But if they're on a stand and they're with a business, they have to talk to you. So it's a great opportunity to meet people that you wouldn't necessarily know. And it's also about who they know as well. And I promise you this, if you work in sales or business development and you get a lot of those vacancies, which I used to in the defense sector, the folks that I used to meet on the stands, I used to then connect up with and end up placing quite a few of them. Events are amazing for market intel. So they're a bit like a live feed of what's going on in your sector. Who's hiring, who's struggling, who's expanding, who's signing new contracts. The things that you learn at an industry event often don't make it onto LinkedIn for days, weeks, months. Sometimes they never make it onto LinkedIn, and you're there live learning about this for yourself. And that leads on to personal branding and marketing. This is, again, another really big topic within Team Network this year, is about building your personal brand and becoming the go-to person in your sector. Being at an industry event is like a content goldmine. Every photo that you take, every post that you put on your socials, every time you tag a business or tag a speaker, you're sharing to your network that you are visible in your industry. And I've seen recruiters double their LinkedIn engagement just by showing up, posting during the event, posting after the event, and following up really strategically. You can meet new collaborators. You probably haven't thought about this one, but I'll say this. Some of the biggest fees that I've seen reported, placement fees, have been with team members that have met at an industry event, they've worked together, and then they've reported it back to team. So there's some amazing opportunities to find businesses that you can collaborate with. They're amazing for checking up on your competition. So where else do you get the opportunity to see several of your competitors in one space? You can look at what they're saying, how they're positioning themselves, what businesses they're talking to, what tech they're using, what clients they're kind of interacting with at the event. Being in the same room as your competitors sometimes tells you everything you need to know about them. Events are filled with expert speakers, talks, panels, people sharing stories, news. You can take that information back to your desk the very next day. And finally, they're a great opportunity to meet people you already know in your network. So existing clients, candidates, friends in the industry. Relationships really strengthen when you're in person, and people remember how you made them feel when you last met them way more than they remember your last email to them as well. So if you put all of those kind of 8 things together, new clients, candidates, intel, branding, collabs, competitor insight, learning, relationship strengthening, I promise you, events are not optional. They are one of the most powerful assets you've got in your toolkit. And this is kind of where it all comes together. And this is what we worked on over the summer to present back in October in Birmingham, the event loop strategy. And this is what the best recruiters do. They treat events like a flywheel and not a one stop. So it's got 4 phases, what the best recruiters do before an event, what they do on the day, how they follow up, and then how they consistently keep going to events and that ongoing multiplier effect. So we'll jump straight into this, and this is built into this guide that you can download at the end of this talk. But the first one is what happens before an event. I don't know if you can hear that. My tummy's rumbling. I haven't had lunch yet, so sorry if you can hear that in the background. If you really want ROI, the work starts sometimes weeks and months before an event takes place and you walk through the door. First of all, you've got to choose the right event. You've got to make sure that the event is going to be worth your time, worth your energy and your effort. Think about your market. A really great exercise here is ask your candidates and your existing clients, what events do they go to and they get value from, and make a list of those. Industry expos, trade shows, niche conferences. If it's candidate led, it's really important that you try and get to those, because most recruiters won't go to those events. And I've been to some events in my career when I've been the only recruiter there. And that's a great opportunity to have a captive audience. Build a hit list or an annual calendar of events that you want to attend. Create a calendar stick it on your wall in your office, write all of those dates down, color code them, make it visual so you can see it all the time. And that kind of last minute you'll have is, shall I go, shall I not? You'll get rid of that because you'll be seeing it every day, and block it into your diary. It will give you consistency, and keep an eye on where your competitors are going as well, because there's always other opportunities to go to other events. Once you pick the right event, it's all about pre-event planning, set measurable goals. Are you going there for existing client updates? Are you going there for new leads? Are you going there for strategic communication or connections, market intel? Are there particular speakers that you've always wanted to see? Write that down, build a list, who's going. If you know who's going to be attending as well, and you know the speakers, connect with them on LinkedIn. Send them a personalized message telling them how excited you are about meeting them at the event and watching their talk. Those kind of connection requests get accepted. Comment on people's LinkedIn posts if they're sharing excitement about attending events as well. And by the time you meet them at the event, you'll be halfway there, because hopefully they will remember you. Make sure that if you know folks are turning up as well, ask to meet them for a quick 5-minute coffee. Don't just hope that you bump into people, and make sure that you've got a hook ready. Here's what I do. These are the types of organizations or people that I help. That will give you real confidence. If you do these steps, you'll walk into an event with momentum rather than just hoping for the best. The next step in the strategy is what to do on the day. And this is where events are either won or they're wasted. My crucial tip for on the day is make sure you're there super, super early. Sometimes it's better to get to an event before the doors are open, because you get to have a chat with people maybe that are organizing the event. You can see who's coming in. You're calm. You're not stressed out about running late or trains, or if it's a particularly big event and you have to get the tube there, like if you're going to XL, for instance, the tubes are packed, you're hot, you're sweaty. Try and get there as early as possible. Get in the right mindset of what you want to achieve for the day. If you've ever seen Michelle Flynn, I talked about Michelle when I was at the Rec Expo in Birmingham in October, because she was talking a couple of hours after me. But think about breath work. If you're a bit stressed out, like, calm yourself down, go into a corner of the event space, do some box breathing, relax, get in the right mindset for networking and trying to achieve the goals that you set out for the day. Capture data. So this is a really, really important part of on the day. Take as many photos as humanly possible. Use I use an iPhone. I've got a voice note and an AI recorder app on my phone. Constantly be leaving yourself voice notes and updates as to things that you're learning, people that you're meeting. Take photos of people's name badges. Take pictures of all the stands, all the businesses that you want to target. QR codes, downloadable lists, speaker slots. You will thank yourself. Your future self will thank you for doing all this when you're back in the office. Make sure you're really visible on socials. Take loads of photos, let everyone know that you're there, tag people, post real-time updates, make events work for you twice. Once when you're there, and then once when you follow up again afterwards. And lastly, never leave an event empty-handed. And I don't mean the kind of crappy merch that you get given on all the stands, the kind of plastic cups and pens and stuff that you're never going to use. I'm talking about agendas, brochures, news bulletins, attendee lists. All of this become a bigger part of the post-event follow-up. And I'm going to give you a really great hack about using a paid ChatGPT account and creating a project folder for each event that you go to. And all of this stuff that I'm telling you to record and capture now is going to feed into that project folder. The best recruiters don't just attend events, they own them, they're seen at them, they're heard at them, and they're remembered after the day. And then finally, the kind of final one is, what do you do when the event's over? This is the stage where most recruiters lose value. They show up, they have great conversations, and then they just disappear back to their busy desks, and they never follow up with anyone. And it's a bit like going to the gym once, doing one rep, and then leaving and never going back again. You must stick to the golden rule of you've got 24 to 48 hours to follow up with your hot prospects. Speed builds trust. If you wait a week, you will be forgotten. So here's how you can stand out. Don't just send a blank email connection request to the folks that you meet. Make it personalized. If you've exchanged mobile numbers with someone, send them a WhatsApp video note or a short voice note as well, if you're not comfortable doing video, but I do suggest you use video. It's far more powerful. Remind them of the conversation or something that you talked about or something that you think stands out about the event in that voice note or video note or message or LinkedIn connection request. Give them a reason to reply to you. Not all contacts are the same though that you meet. So make sure that you prioritize who are the hot leads, people that you could potentially work with right now, who are you could put in a warm nurture sequence, high value prospects that you can build a relationship with over time, and who are strategic connections, the speakers, the industry allies, the potential collaborators. When you follow up, always send value. That could be a piece of insight. I'm going to suggest to you in a little while, create a blog and some articles and some data about the event that you've been to use for your BD. Send that to the prospects that you've met. Systemize it. The best recruiters use systems for everything. So when you get back from the event or before the event, create a CRM tag with a clear identifier for each event that you go to, and tag everyone that you met, every company that was there, so you can see exactly where those leads come from. And then finally, set reminders to re-engage with those folks at week 1, 2, 4, because one follow-up rarely converts, as we all know, and it's about rhythm, consistency that turns good event follow-ups into pipeline. And the event doesn't end when you leave the venue. It's about building a loop. So at any point in time, you should have several events planned for the rest of the year. You want to stay on top of market intelligence. You want to keep showing up in front of potential candidates and clients and prospects. Share genuine stories. The recruiters that do this, sorry, I missed moving the slide forward. The recruiters that do this consistent restarting of the loop are the ones that win every single time. I'm now going to talk about 4, I think, elite examples of folks that use industry events to their advantage. Each of these wonderful folks agreed to give me kind of 5 to 10 minutes to give me an overview and let me interview them about what they do at events. And each of those 5 to 10 minutes turned into 30 to 50 minutes because they had so much to say. But I've managed to summarize each one into a few slides just to show you how being unique with events can really maximize your return on investment. Exhibiting with impact, Laura Davies from Marshall Harmony. Local networking for incredible ROI, Joanne Finity. Creative community building with Emma Homan. And recruitment supplier strategic lurking with Cybor from Embedded Ops. So the first one is team member Laura, who's the CEO of Marshall Harmony. So Laura took her company brand as an exhibitor at UK Metals Expo. And she did this by making her stand feel exactly like her company brand and her office. Warm, approachable, different. She had these amazing branded coffee cups, which people could fill up on her stand with a coffee machine. And for her, attending the event wasn't about hard selling. It was all about positioning her brand authentic and approachable. And it showed how exhibiting done well can create amazing visibility and credibility. And I asked her how it helped with her brand, how it helped when she was then asked to become a speaker and a panelist, and how it helped with her personal growth and her business growth. And she said that being in the room with all of her potential clients just made it feel so much different to kind of spammy business development emails and sales calls. She said having personal branded cups and coffee, like giving that out on the stand, really became a magnet for people to come over and speak to her and her staff. When she was asked to speak on a panel, it gave her self-confidence, authority, respect. And now she's seen as someone who really understands the strategy behind her market and not just being another recruiter. Her top tip, though, was don't underestimate planning. Like when you exhibit at an event, make sure you budget properly, you invest in the right merch, limit to one big show if you're going to exhibit every year. And most importantly, and as I've been saying all the way along through this, the real return on investment is the follow-up. And here's a few photos of Laura and her team who all contributed to the excitement, the build-up, the real-time updates. A real great case study for a recruitment founder absolutely killing it in her sector by showcasing her business in a particular way. So next up, we've got the Event Run Club for Mental and Physical Health. So this is Emma Homan from Talent Locker. So Emma lives in my old world of the defense sector, which some people could say is a pretty stuffy, suited and booted environment and doesn't have much fun attached to it. Emma came up with this idea about 6 months before DSEI in September, and she started putting the feelers out, getting see if people were interested of starting a 5K run club every morning before the event started. Across the week, she had 75 different people come along and run 5K along the Thames with her. And it's a brilliant example of thinking differently, using someone else's event to build a community and her own lifestyle of, mental health and fitness, to blend that into building relationships and making her memorable. She said that when I asked her about why she did it, she was like, I created this run club to break the ice with people. And she realized that DSEI was really busy, it was really intense. So offering up an opportunity to come along, meet other people early in the morning, gave her a different way to get people connected. The mixture of the 75 people that turned up to be potential candidates, clients, suppliers, and peers. And she said it became an unexpected goldmine for networking. She said no one was selling. Everyone was really, really friendly. And the kind of brand perception was that Talent Locker was seen as an innovative, energetic, and approachable business. And since this event, I'm really pleased to see this because I was there as well. But the Global Recruiter Awards a couple of weeks back, Talent Locker actually won the Global Recruiter Award for Best Brand. And I think Emma and her ideas behind this played a big part on that. And here are a couple of photos from the event, how she was sharing about, let's meet at the event and some of the status updates, but a really, really great example of doing something differently. Next up is Joanne Finity, who is a member of team. And she posted this image on LinkedIn probably about 6 months ago now. But she said she's turned her £2,000 a year BNI membership into 200 grand's worth of business. So I asked her about her take on her personal style. How does she balance this? And she said that she joined BNI as a local network 13 years ago. And she built an amazing network of fellow business owners, not recruitment business owners. She's the only one that all lean on each other. They share leads, they support each other. And because of that, she is the go-to recruiter locally for her business. She's got a really unique personal style. She uses TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn for sharing her updates. She shares lots of stories about what's happening in her particular region. And she builds networking into her diary every single week. She actually said, networking is like going to the gym for me. Every Thursday are BNI mornings, followed by one-to-ones and client meetings. And she sticks to that structure. And she's been so successful doing it over the years. Here's some of the photos of her social posts over the last few months. Her top tips are: give first. The more referrals you give, the more you receive. Structure your networking and your events attendance into your routine and treat them as a non-negotiable. And don't let fear stop you. Fake the confidence if you must, but you must show up. And then finally, we've got Cy Bohr from Embedded Ops, the supplier with the lurk. I actually met Cy at a event. I met him at the Rec Expo for the first time. And I asked him if, I think he's an amazing networker. So I asked him to give me some ideas and hacks and strategies of how he approaches events. So he says his approach is a bit different. He lurks smartly at events, using the time and space to gather intel, spot up and coming businesses, build connections, meet other suppliers. He said it's not about getting up on a stage. It's about your personal presence, your awareness, and about being at the right place at the right time. So he said he doesn't just walk around events aimlessly. He waits, breakout points, coffee areas, entrances, and catches people when they're relaxed and more open to conversation. A great example we said is at the end of the day, when everybody's kind of milling out of a show or an expo, he waits at the exit and he's looking to see who's going past him. And he actually caught a guy that he'd been trying to speak to for months and months, CEO of a big recruitment business. He ended up walking with him to the tube, and lo and behold, booked a meeting with him next week, and he's now a client of his. So that's just a really clever way of thinking differently about how you approach a network. He said that industry events for him are gold mines for information. He picks up all of the industry gossip, competitor movements, upcoming projects, who's making moves. And he said, as I think I mentioned this earlier, one good event can fuel months of pipeline because of the intelligence and the relationships that you form at them. So here's some photos just to prove it of me and Cy being at lots of different events together. But his key strategy for everyone is lead with referrals. You meet people and you find out that they've got a challenge, a problem, that if you know someone that can support them, make the referral. It will make you really, really memorable. Here's my top tips and hacks before I wrap up. Bear with me 1 second. Here I'm going to talk about AI and some bonus ideas. And a lot of recruiters see events as quite old school things, but the smartest recruiters are blending in-person events with digital leverage. So how I would, if I was still running a desk, how would I use AI? I would use tools to scan across platforms, hashtags, and scrape speaker lists. So I know what's happening at that event before it happens. I talked about this earlier, but one of the key things that I use on a daily basis is my ChatGPT Plus account. It's 20 quid a month. Everything that I'm working on, I create a little project folder for. And if you're going to an event, you should create a project folder for that event, load it with photos, notes, attendee lists, leads, voice notes that you've left yourself, pictures, like everything about the event, dump it into one folder and treat it a bit like a second brain. You can build outreach cadences off that of people that you've met. You can create blogs, articles, It can give you ideas about, posts and polls that you can put on LinkedIn that could potentially go viral in your space. There's loads and loads of ways to use those project folders if you've got all that information in one go. And I promise you, most recruiters are not doing this. Use AI note takers when you're sitting in the audience of a talk. Don't use them if it's one-to-one unless you ask the person that you're speaking to for their permission. But capturing the sentiment in a room, capturing a talk recorded on your phone adds to that, that follow-up piece that I've been talking about, how important it is. You can take all of that data, put it into ChatGPT and ask it, how is this talk relevant to my business, my candidates, what my clients are talking about at the moment? Create some content for me. Really great hack is save your QR code to link with you on LinkedIn as your screensaver on your phone. So whenever you're walking around, you meet someone, you just ask them to open the camera on their phone, it'll open the LinkedIn app and they send you a connection request. At that point, you've got the ability to accept or decline, which obviously, hopefully you won't decline, but when you accept, you can do that on your own terms and get ready with that personal message. Final 2 tips for you. I know we're running slightly over 7 minutes. Have a wingman or wingwoman strategy. So if you're a solo recruiter or you work for a small business, doing one big event is a big ask, and meeting every person that's there and seeing every stand. Partner up with someone else that's also in the same sector. Or if you're introverted, you don't like talking to many people, like agree to work with other people and go to an event together. Agree beforehand that you can introduce each other to the connections that you make, share contacts, make sure that there isn't a single stand left unseen or unspoken to. And this simple hack can build your confidence and can double your reach at an event. And lastly, make yourself memorable. Using myself as a bit of an example here, but when you go to events, you can sometimes meet dozens, hundreds of different people. Try and make yourself stand out afterwards. I've spoken at the Rec Expo in London and Birmingham 3 times now, and I've used Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel movies. I gave out over 100 Lego minifigures when I did a talk all about building your network using Lego analogies. I got some flashy Bumblebee style Jordan 1 trainers when I did my last talk in Birmingham. Like, people remember me because of those things. And, not saying this because it's flashy, but it was memorable. So try and add some of your personality to your messaging, your follow-ups, and people will remember you. So just to follow up on all of this, thanks to all that have stayed with me. The event loop strategy is really, really powerful when you're consistent with planning, showing up, following up, and staying visible. Last question for everyone is, what is your next industry event that you're going to attend? And what's your plan to win from it? To help you with that, you can click on this QR code now on your screen, or Jahisha will send you an email after this talk to download the guide. But this playbook is full of step-by-step checklists, outreach templates, AI hacks, prompts, strategies that will convert. We really hope that you can use this, and this talk has helped you with your view on what events can actually do for you going into 2026. If anyone's got any questions, please shoot them into the chat now, and I'll hang around for 5 minutes or so. But if you've got a run, send me a DM. I promise I'll respond as quickly as possible, but I'm taking a day annual leave tomorrow because I'm doing my first High Rocks in London, and I've got a board meeting on Friday, but I'll try my very best to respond to everyone as quickly as I can. Hope you enjoyed this talk. Jahisha, do you want to fire up any? I've got some questions here. Okay, fine. Do I use Otter at events? How do you keep up the conversations? I use Otter at events. Yes. Download the app and have it on your phone. Don't use it on a laptop. It's just awkward. What I do with my Otter notes, so if I'm listening to a talk, I'll set the recording up as the talk starts and finish at the end of the talk. I then, on my phone, I use the Otter app to access the transcript. Top three dots on the top copies the entire transcript of the talk. I then drop that into the ChatGPT folder and I tell it to summarize it for me. I tell it to how would this impact me or team, or if you're a recruitment business owner, how can I use this information to become an authority? What have I learned out of it? There's loads of ways that you can use it, Tam. Any more, Jahisha? Yeah, I knew the trainers would get featured. Yeah, definitely have that. Harry Round, geez, Tom, I have a question. How do you optimize networking, social media promotion in an industry that hasn't got a lot of people doing it? We recruit in the haulage industry, and this industry isn't full of networking events. Any advice? They probably do. It depends on how big your clients are. There are definitely transportation and logistics events that I've seen. So I started my career in that space. Harry, I would go to your clients and ask them, do they know of specific events that they go to, and make sure that you're booking yourself into those for 2025. There's also quite a few, I don't know if you're in team or not, Harry, if you're a member or if you're just guests watching this, but we've got a lot of recruitment agencies in team that work in transport and logistics. This is the kind of thing when I talk about the wingman, wingwoman strategy, hook up with those other recruitment businesses in similar sectors and potentially go and complete the whole event together and find out what they're doing as well. Any more questions, Jahisha? Are we done? Simon Bliss, make the event work twice. Okay, I think that's everything. So, sorry, it's more than half an hour, it's 43 minutes, but thank you so much for attending. I want to say a big shout out to Jahisha Thomas, who put this playbook together. She organizes all of these LinkedIn Lives. She's doing an absolutely amazing job for us. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you do this, if you do, do this strategy and you book events for next year, please tag me on some of the stuff that you do as well. I would love to see it. Someone booked a meeting with me after the event at the Rec Expo in October. And his first thing he said to me was like, I've booked 10 events for 2026 based on your talk. Just made my day. And I do genuinely think that if you show up, you can get amazing ROI. So thanks, everyone. And if I don't see any of you again, have a great Christmas. Bye-bye.